Was everybody? Welcome back to the Common Sense Perspective. Oh yeah. So I'm your host here today. You can just call me CM. All right. And with that, I do have crypto channels as well. If you see the link in my description, you can see my crypto channels. But if you're not interested in the crypto channels, you have this channel here, which is just common sense, and it doesn't matter what it is. We could talk about anything and everything. Anything is on the table, nothing's off the table, and it's just whatever comes to mind. Of what the subject can be. It could be about anything, politics, sports, everything in general. And so, with that, a couple of things came yesterday that really, struck a chord in me once again. And so I thought I wanted to share what I thought I wanted to talk about and common sense. So yesterday I talked about going woke and stuff like that, about businesses going woke and Olympics going woke and all that. But anyhow, today saw a couple of things. All right, so biggest thing I've been seeing is Elon Musk, right? And let's see if there's anything, specifically posted here. So big things. He's been in the news lately, right? Because the biggest thing that kind of caught attention was how he was going to donate to the Trump campaign. He's a supporter of Donald Trump and all that stuff. And so, I look at and thought about how and what happened, like why the change. Because, I know for a fact that being in California, he was one of the people that was a Democrat, right? So there was a story about why the change, right? And so the change occurred, and this is an interesting story, and I want to parlay this to Gavin Newsom as well. But the change to all this was back in 2021 when Biden was inaugurated, right? Because Elon Musk voted for Biden, and he supported Biden, right? And so it was an interesting article I read about why he supported Biden, right? Because, Biden supported car companies in general, especially, unions and stuff. And the only takeaway was that, from that, was that Musk and Tesla was not a union. They're not a union company. So he supported Biden and the Democrats for the fact that it was almost like protection, right, in a sense, because he protected car companies in general. And being that he also made a mandate about, having zero emission cars by a certain date and year and all that stuff, it put, in a sense, you would think it would put Musk up, ahead of the game and to the forefront of everything. So when Musk tried to reach out to Biden and the White House, he got ignored. Not once, not twice, several times. And then when the White House had an event to especially focus on this whole zero emission cars and all that stuff, it Musk wasn't invited, because Tesla is ahead of the game with electric cars, right? They're way ahead of the game. But he wasn't invited. Other car manufacturers were invited. Ford, GM, and Stellantis, right, were the big three car companies that were invited to the White House event, and not Musk and his company Tesla. So he was miffed by that because if you're talking about this whole mandate, and Musk is way ahead of the game when it comes to electric cars and all that, why wouldn't you want him over? So it came to him that because, part of it is because he's not a union company, and there's other smaller little things that, for whatever reason, the White House and Biden did not work with Tesla on. So Elon saw that as a sign like, you know what? I got to just pack my bags and get going here because, Democrats are trash, and the stuff that they're trying to push and to force on the people is not a good look. It's not making anything, better, right? And so even says right here, I voted Democrat all my life, and then I woke up. There you go, right? And I spoke about it a couple of times that you grow up, you're a minority, you're younger, you're a minority. You would think that just on the surface, they always said Democrats always look out for minorities. Oh, they always look out, for the people that are not rich, right? And then you're indoctrinated when you go to college. There are indoctrination camps that sit there and just kind of push that whole liberal progressive line even more, and to making you think that they got your back, right? But then as you start to realize that the extreme, as you get older, right, you make money, right? You make money, you own a home, you have a family, all that stuff. You start to realize that, oh, wait a second, man, the Democrats really don't have your back. They're really only looking out for themselves, right? All the taxes they push, everything that they supposedly, you know, want you to tax the rich on, the higher income 1% and all that stuff. But yet, is that really happening? I mean, they are pushing that. And they keep forcing all these things upon people, right? Like the zero emission stuff, the green policy, this whole bag of nonsense. They're pushing the whole, for example, transgender in school thing and protecting them. That, where Gavin Newsom recently signed a law saying, oh, the schools don't have to report to the parents if the kids, want to keep it a secret or they don't want to tell. And it's like, well, you're taking the parenting away from the parents, right? The responsibility of being a parent away from the parents. What kind of shit is that? So as things start to snowball up and up and up, he said he woke up, right? He said he's had enough of this shit. So besides being taxed the shit out of them, and just like any other companies in, all over California, businesses, rich people, or let's just say more higher income people, not rich, not necessarily rich, higher income people. People have had enough. And that's why he moved his stuff all out of state. He said, I'm out of here, man. I'm not going to deal with this shit. And he's obviously seeing the wool, the rug, the carpet, the blanket that's been put over us the whole time about how bad Democrats really are, right? In terms of just their agenda. I mean, when you look at everything that they do, right? Like everything that they do, it's for the benefit of them. And everything that they claim to be about, about Republicans, it's actually on them. They're actually doing, what it is. They're the corrupt ones. They're so corrupt. It's so bad. And it's evident when you look at California, how bad things are. So, that's the one fold, right? Because talked about, listening to his story of why he changed. And of course, when what pushed him over the edge even more was the whole signing into law of, the transgenderism thing in schools and not being able to, not having to have to report to parents about that. That's what pushed him over the edge. And it's like, I mean, how much is enough, right? In California, about forcing you to do everything, right? They're trying to take away our natural gas. They're trying to take away all this stuff, and they don't have the infrastructure to support such a way of zero emissions, everything, removing all gases of everything. It doesn't make sense, right? They don't want to tap the coastline for what they call is fracking the oil, right? They don't want to tap that, and it's like, well, shit, you know, you're forcing us to do all this shit, and it's not like it's going to be free. You got to buy these expensive electric cars. You got to, you got to convert everything over to electric stuff, battery operated stuff. And then when you look at the source company, PG&E, their infrastructure is bad in general because we've gone through blackouts and brownouts in the past, and as far as I know, I haven't seen any sort of improvements to their infrastructure. Just maybe better responsibility in terms of how we use our electricity, but they haven't gone the extra mile, the extra lengths to, I guess you could say, expand and rework the system itself, right? It still appears to be the same old thing. All they're doing is just collecting money. Then you look at how everything is restricted to the electric companies. Everything's restricted to the green policies, right? So then who's really benefiting from this? Just the politicians, because they're the ones that are pushing the policies while we're the ones paying for it. So obviously they are gaining from it just purely by being paid to do so. And so, it just, like I said, it makes me think about, wow, it's like how bad really, things really are, right? And in California. And then, one of many Newsom's terrible decisions, right, that continues to get even more terrible because he just sucks. And he's trying to be a presidential candidate, right? And so it's just funny, how that is. Like with the whole $20 minimum wage increase to that, and he has this, so-called food council to where they gather together and make decisions on, we should increase weight because, by the way, news report today came that in terms of this fast food council, they're gonna have a new council meeting, right? I think by the end of this month coming up, on deciding whether or not they're gonna evaluate things, and then they're gonna decide what to do, say like for future wage increases, right? And supposedly the talk is already about raising wages again by another 3%. All right, that's already the early talk, and it's like, wow. All right, and then you wonder why businesses close and Elon moved out of the state and all that stuff. I mean, it's like, really. It's just funny how things are. So now, it's like, how much more can Gavin literally destroy California? Because he's pushing companies out. You push the premier car electric company, leader and company out of California. You shutter many businesses just because it's not a business-friendly environment. And you force all these policies, right? But then at the snap of a finger, when you have a Chinese, president come to town, from China, come to town in San Francisco, man, you snap a finger, and the streets are cleaned, literally within days of San Francisco. The crap. Because it was known as Shit City, right? Yeah, shit all over the place. They even had an app where it kind of shows where all the poop is all over the city. But man, you within like a 3-4 block radius, cleaned up the streets with the snap of a finger. Oh hey, with all the defunding the police and budgets are shot all over blue cities all over California. Oh yeah, I could help with that. I'll snap a finger and I'll send CHP down to Oakland, right, with corrupt mayors there. You notice, and that reminds me, as I take a little side step, you notice that all the blue cities, no matter where you name, L.A., Oakland, San Francisco, Chicago, New York, right, blue cities, right, that are run by blue. You notice that one, they're DEI hires. Two, they're not good at what they're doing. So obviously, if they are DEI hires, a lot of times they're not up to spec in terms of qualification to do the job, and it's proven to be that they're not qualified to do the job. They're only hired because of the race or whatever it is, right? Their identity, right? But not necessarily their policies, not necessarily their reputation or background, and all that stuff. That's a whole new subject matter that I won't even talk to you about right now because I do want to talk about Kamala again, but not in this particular episode. But yeah, blue cities all over the place have been run down and run out of money, resources, and everything. Man, supposedly for defunding the police, right, and to being able to rework the money into the budget, right, because that's supposed to help the budget, but to other things that will better benefit the city. But yet they're all shot. All the budgets are shot. Not one of these blue cities have a good budget. They're all shot. How is that so? Oh, because they're paying all these different NGOs, whether it's for sanctuary city status stuff, allowing all the illegals to come in, overspending on everything, right? When you look at it, look how bad things are, right? It's crazy. So yeah, so going back to this whole fast food increase thing, which hasn't benefited California, hasn't benefited anything, right? Because with the fast food wage increase, businesses have responded either by cutting staff, cutting hours, or closing up shop, right? And so how's that benefited? And the speculation of a 3% increase in wages, that's going to take away the bottom line even more in the business. I mean, that's just crazy to think about. And they're still going to push that line. So how much more you idiots out there are going to keep voting for Gavin Newsom, right? So that's what you guys are. You keep voting blue. This is what you're going to get. They're going to screw you. And that's the common sense here. It's like you see it all, the destruction, all that stuff, and how everything is just falling apart. Everything's overspent. I mean, how can you have a huge ass surplus of money to only spend it all and then be in red all within the next 2 years? I mean, how? And then for this upcoming budget, you're going to use reserve money to pay for the deficit. And while further, they say he's not increasing taxes, maybe not on the people, but on the businesses he is. And then you wonder why businesses like Tesla move out of state. It's crazy. Just to think about. And again, once you start making money, that's when you realize that, man, everything that you thought it was when it became, what it was when it came to progressivism and liberalism and all that stuff, right? That they're looking out for those people sucks. It's terrible. Like on the surface, right? Oh man, they're out to protect you, man. College students, oh man, you're getting your loan forgiven. How does that teach you responsibility that you took out all that debt in the first place? That's almost like getting a handout that they are covering your school loans. But the government don't have the money to pay for it. All they're doing is just taking it on as debt when they forgive the school loans. Which, by the way, the Supreme Court said no, but Biden still went ahead and put in executive orders for that to happen. So what the hell is that? This is funny. But yeah, so it just made me think about the story of Elon and why he jumped over to Republicanship. And it makes sense though, because if you're making money, that's when you actually realize how bad Democratic policies are and Republican policies actually are better. Right? Red is evil, red is evil. Is it? Right? When you make an income, you have a house, all right, you pay bills, you realize that being more conservative actually is the better way to go. Because, man, this progressive stuff, oh man, Sanctuary City, we'll take them all in. Shit, we'll give them all benefits. We'll give them food stamps. We'll give them, insurance. We'll give them everything. And it's like, for what? What are we giving all these people? What are they doing for us? Why are we covering for these people? Right? And then when they say, oh, we're going to do a mass deportation. Oh, that's so racist. You're going to do a mass deportation? You're a bigot. You're a racist. Are you really? Or is it just common sense? Right? How do you get businesses to come back to California? Oh, how about not being so aggressive with the progressive policies? Maybe pull back on some of those policies, like, and the taxing of everything. Why? And you wonder why businesses can't survive in California. I was in a plaza yesterday, this little restaurant plaza, right? And I haven't been there in a few months, and I looked at it and I was like, wow, one, it's been run down. Two, all these different new name business restaurant names that are in it now, which by the way is not 100% full, changed. There was a turnover because the prior restaurants couldn't survive, and that's the reason why they either are closed for good or they have a changeover in ownership. It's like, damn. And it's just only been a matter of months since the last time I was there. So, it just makes you wonder. But yeah. So, just wanted to tell the tale of that. And maybe I'll talk about another story when it comes to Teslas later on. I like Elon in a sense that I like his style when it comes to things with, Twitter, known as X, and being out of the box when it comes to things, with car manufacturing, being able to succeed, right? Because it's hard. Business is hard. But he was able to succeed as being the top electric car manufacturers, right? But but in the end, I'm not a fan of Teslas and the cars in general. I'm not a fan. But that's a whole different story. But yeah, so I just wanted to talk about that, and yeah, it's just funny because everything that he says does make sense, right? DEI must die. Yeah, because DEI is terrible. Hiring you because of your race or you know, your gender. What does that really do for you? Are they really skilled enough to run a business or run a company or run the country? That's the question, right? And but it's a whole different matter we'll talk about. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about why Elon jumped off the Democratic ship. It's just so bad. And we're living it. So if you really want to make a difference, I guess you got to vote. Maybe I might vote for the first time ever in my life. But yeah, so shoot me a comment. Let me know what you think about all that. And yeah, just interesting times we're in right now. This is a pivotal moment, in our lives, in our country. All right, because think about it. Do you want more of the same, right? Because in a way, Kamala is more of the same, an extension of Biden, but she's more progressive. And I hate to say this, but you put female emotion into it, they're going to act on emotion even more, and it may push the progressive, like proverbial push even harder, knowing the background of where she came in San Francisco and California politics, right? So we'll see what happens, but anyhow, let me know what you think. All right, pivotal times right now. Other than that, I just want to say thank you. Shoot me a comment, and other than that, we'll talk more. I'll see you in the next one.